Yo, welcome to Crate 808, and today we are talking Benny the Butcher's Tana Talk 4. We talked about Conway's God Don't Make Mistakes in the last episode. Go check that out, but let us know what you think is Tana Talk 4 in the comments. We'll shout them out on the next show, and also hit like, hit subscribe, and yes, without further ado, let's get into it, some Griselda chat.
Tana Talk 4, incredible album.
Tana Talk 4 is an incredible album. See how we've come all full circle here? Tana Talk 4 is a fucking incredible album. Ray, tell me why Tana Talk 4 is an incredible album for you.
Just the beats are crazy from the outset, and just again, Benny's rhyming style. I think he just keeps getting better and better. There's a couple of real standout tracks. There's back times too, and I put in my notes. We can all relate to having a bad back. I don't think it's about having a bad back, but I like it.
It's not at all. I don't think so. But
yeah, I think there's a couple of lines in there. But yeah, Weekend in the Perrys. There's this one line that I picked out. They're crooked, bending the rules. Rappers, I consider them cool, but when you're talking most authentic, then who gonna fit in my shoes? I'm living my truth. The sky's the only limit I knew. From drug dealing to music, I mean, what didn't I do? But yeah, it's drug dealing and music. What didn't I do? There's loads of other things that you could rap about, but you don't. But that's fine. But the thing is, he's
your lane.
But yeah, he fucking smashes on that. And gee, look, I don't know how much we're going to go into this, but 10 More Commandments.
Yeah, I know. I got Biggie up right now behind me for the YouTube people out there. You know he's there. There's been some Biggie references in the other albums as well. I fil like this last month there's been quite a bit of Biggie love. Slim Hopper's a fucking great track. I'm going to go in there.
I enjoyed
this.
that.
This is what I'm saying. But they have these moments where you said it earlier about the 90s and how incredible it was. On this podcast, we talk about that fertile ground of the Wild West and everything that's been an offshoot from it. And the beauty of it is we still have it. We have all this to go round so we all can enjoy it. But man, Tana Talk fucking 4. There is this moment where you realise Conway's like really telling you in his album about like his past, where he is now. It doesn't seem stable. Like I said, I want to give him a hug. It feels like he's striving for something, but it's a real struggle for him. Whereas when I hear Tana Talk 4, it's more about Benny. He's still looking back. He's still looking back at everything he's done, but it almost is now like he's operating on a level where, I mean, Tyson versus Ali, where he's just like single-handedly taking down them hip-hop conversations in pubs about rankings. Literally, we've just done one on this podcast. Do you know what I mean? And him taking it down with, Conway, which people always compare the two. We've just done it again on this podcast. And he single-handedly takes that down, and it makes you mull over what is the point of ranking art. Yo, quick reminder, if you're enjoying the show, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button so you'll be kept up to date with all that we're doing. And also, man, get involved in the YouTube comments. Man, we love hearing from you fellow hip-hop heads. We love nerding out. So bring those takes and just bring that flavour, man, and we might even shout you out on the show. So yes, appreciate all the support. Now, back to the episode. Like, really, we all know that we were fucking amazing together. Not one of them could have done what they did. Because they were together is what's incredible. But because it's fun and because we like to battle, that moment of hearing, that's a great fucking verse where Boston, what is it? Question, do your legacy rest depending on where you rank amongst the current or the late? If so, I'm feeling like I'm straight. And you think those moments is like, yeah, your legacy shouldn't depend on where you rank at all. Because Master Race, no one fucking talks about Master Race. Yeah, he's a fucking incredible. No one talks about Kool Keith, or they should talk about Kool Keith more. And Del Funk Homo Sapien, these people, they don't probably even get mentioned in these ranks. So your legacy is still intact. So if you are listening to Benny, that's what I think, mate. Don't worry about that. But I also love that Con on there. Both of them are operating on an incredibly high level. And stories, what Conway's lived a fucking life. He gave a necklace to Mary Jane in front of Angie Martinez. And she was like, who the fuck is
Mary
that
J. Blige?
Mary J. Blige.
Yeah.
That is
that
cinematic.
True? Is that true?
I don't know, but he's so authentic in what he says. It's hard to doubt him, isn't it? Really, like, yeah, he might not have moved the weight he's talking about, but I understand when you talk about other shit that how deep it must be, and that kind of stuff is like, well, fuck, like I didn't know about that, and it means a lot that you've still brought that up and shared it with us. What did you think, James, to Tana Talk 4?
Yeah, just on that thing, it's he's going down the Pusha T route of drug accountancy rap, where you have all the checks and balances of your drug game. It's all very official. Like, here's the documents. Yeah, I did all that. That's no one. Have you done it? Have you got your? No, you've not got your accounts in order, because I actually did it. The whole album's like that, but it's kind of good. And I like the fact that he has. We're probably going to talk about it, but the J. Cole verse, where you take that J. Cole verse and you put that on any other rapper's album, other than probably Pusha T, and it's a diss track to the rapper you're on the album with. Because he's basically said, because no one else can help, because there's not many other rappers who are like, we definitely did this shit, like as much as Benny and Pusha and Conway and stuff like that. So I found that really good. It was a brilliant verse by J. Cole, and like just fitted in perfectly. Whereas you get like people like Busta, who on what's it called, from, was it last year or the year before, where he's talking, it was a really entertaining verse, but he's talking about his plug and like selling drugs and stuff like that, and like it's obviously you're not you Busta Rhymes. And Lil Wayne, but even Lil Wayne did that. He was like, I like to thank my plug at this time, I cannot forget slime. That was on the Conway album, and I was like, weren't you like 11 when you joined Cash Money Records? You weren't studying dope. Anyway, maybe he was, but I don't think he had a plug. I don't think he was.
But I think the authenticity of Griselda has been proven in their past work. Like I said, years ago when we started talking about them, these are the guys that have fucking moved this weight, and to hear them talk about it, it's incredible. But I was going to say that is Def Jam Benny, isn't it? On John P's Caddy. John P's Caddy has that Alchemist again, fucking killing it. If we can get more Cole and Benny together, I think they work so well. We all talk about Cole's, but Benny's verse is fucking brilliant. That's probably one of my most rinsed tracks of the year. It's unbelievable what people talk about, what I brought to Griselda, validity. And you think those are the moments in a person's career where they're just summing up everything in so many small words. And I just think, like, landing his lines as he does, he lands them better than the majority of rappers. Of course he does. But yeah,
by the way,
Def Jam Benny.
Conway did give his chain to Mary J. Blige, a 100k chain. Probably wasn't worth 100k chain. It's probably worth more like 10,
but there you go.
I should imagine. But, you know, Jacob the Jeweler and rappers and all that.
Well, as Benny says in 10 More Commandments, he says that you the reason that you buy loads of expensive jewelry is that if for whatever reason you lose a connect or whatever, you can sell your jewelry because it holds value.
No, it does not hold its value. Jewelry doesn't hold its value. Jewelry does not. That's terrible advice. Jewelry just don't do that.
Rule
don't
15.
hold guns and children, and don't
Rule 15
buy jewelry.
It's in there.
An investment.
Rule 15. No, but
just as an NFT
family, just as an immigrant family, that's what we did. That's kind of, it brought me back to, I'm not saying we were drug dealers, but there is that moment where you feel like, there's those moments where you feel like, oh shit, yeah, of course it does. Because gold obviously does hold its value.
Yeah, so gold does, but jewelry doesn't.
Yeah, which is fair
well,
enough.
I mean,
that's what all our shit
in the
verse.
In the verse, he says that whips and jewels. So I don't think at the moment you buy a new car and drive it out of the off the lot. It's just lost.
I mean,
it depends what you're buying, doesn't it? I don't know.
The classic.
Like, if you're buying classic cars, that maybe it'll hold its value. Let's turn this
if
into
you've
a
got
car
really good
podcast.
taste in cars, if you've got a great taste in cars and you buy one that becomes a classic car, then you know.
Yeah,
but
so just
anyway, I want to
keep it for 50 years and you'll be in. Cool.
But that might just be when you lose your connect. And then you're like, fucking thank God for that time.
How is it that we, like, why is it that we listen? Why is this music so, are we fascinated? Why? I know more about the drug game than I know about stuff that I actually should be interested in.
I'll tell you why. 1993 exoticness. It's what Raekwon said in the 36 Chambers. This is some 1993 exoticness. That line itself is so pertinent. Because this is shit we're never going to live. There's an element of danger. We're detached from that danger. We can see it. No. It's like film. It's like Scorsese. Why do we fucking love Scorsese films?
I don't even like gangster films that much. I'd like it if rap was about something else.
There is rap about something else. That's what we're going to talk about in a bit.
There's
we are going to talk
rap.
about that as well. We are going to talk about that. But I just wanted to say there, we talked about 10 more commandments. You know what I love about Tana Talk 4? It definitely is. It's Tana Talk vibes. He's definitely gone back to Derringer, Alchemist. You said the beats were on point. The beats are fucking ridiculous.
He's got a better choice in beats than Conway.
Yeah.
I don't know. I was going to think this. I think Conway's
You were
is
going to
a bit
think
more,
this, but you decided not to think it.
Because I was listening to Piano Love earlier, and I was thinking that is one of my favourite tracks of the year, Piano Love. But I think that's got maybe a few skips on it, Conway's album. But generally, it's probably only like 2. I don't think Tana Talk 4's got any skips on it. I don't think there's a skip on it. And that's why it might be Album of the Year contender, because it hasn't. And it's interesting how I'll grow with this album. But hearing the growth, that's an interesting listen to you two now talk. If we talked about Griselda, 2 new Griselda albums 2 years ago, Ray would not be this far into the conversation. They've grown as artists, and I think our listening has grown with them. And to hear them on this growth is amazing. And to hear him referencing Tana Talk 3 on Guerrero with Westside felt that kind of fanboy moment of, yeah, man, fucking, you're referencing this whole, the concept. We love concepts, and he sticks to that on that kind of level, but he just sounds so established. He's, that said, Def Jam, he's on Def Jam. He's not on Griselda now. It's interesting to see where their legacy will go from here. Like, when you hear the production, yes, it is kind of Tana Talk vibes, but it's fucking odd as well. There are moments, that's what I love about Griselda. They'll have bangers, they'll have griminess, and everyone says this, but more people who talk about how odd they are and this air of mystery to some of them.
That's what makes them good, yeah.
Yeah, like More Crack Commandments is a fucking odd beat. That's it's a real swirling beat.
It's one I'd expect on a Westside Gunn album. It's that kind of beat.
Exactly. Thowy's Revenge, mate. Stuff, fucking hell. So 10 more, but let's talk about 10 more commandments. I just wanted to go in there. I know you guys probably love it.
Advice.
Biggie. I thought the way it ends is amazing. Like, get out the game.
Yeah, like, that was good. I got the only bad thing about it is that Puffy is too high in the mix. Shouldn't be talking all over it. Like, you ruin most of Biggie's songs anyway. But you didn't ruin them.
Talk about real estate.
Yeah, I don't know. He's just. I know why they've got him on there, and wouldn't mind a little bit of him, but he's too high in the mix, and he's just over the top of the lyrics all the time. It's annoying.
It gives it the reference,
but it's also
the validity.
It's classic Puffy, though, isn't it?
Yeah,
exactly what you just described.
He hasn't stopped. He never stopped. Can't stop, won't stop.
He just literally can't. He literally cannot stop and won't stop.
Can I
talk about Feature King here? Feature King, Stove God Cooks. We talked about once. Talk about Stove God Cooks. That Benny verse on Back 2 Times is amazing anyway. But what does he say on there? I've got one here that is fucking brilliant. My style mixed with Boldy James now and Tupac then. Fucking, I know you don't like, I fucking love Boldy, so that was like right there. But Stove God can do the singing. He can do the rapping. When's this project coming out? I want to fucking know. He's got rock, like, come on.
I've heard he's quite good at Coke Talk as well.
Ray
I don't know.
Have
you noticed that? Have you noticed he's quite good at Coke Talk as well?
He's very good at Coke Talk.
It's underrated part of his game, that, but he's quite good at it.
But I like how versatile he is. Yeah. I like how versatile he is. Like, he can do different things. A little bit like, I know you don't like Mac, but Mac does have the versatility there as well.
He's got a lot of charisma.
Definitely. Oozes it, mate. Oozes it. Billy Joe. Can just shout out Billy Joe. Low Key might be one of the best songs on the album.
It's got one of my favourite lines on the whole project. Do you want to hear the line? Which gets me as well. I'm sick of all these fake bosses and temporary soldiers. I put 20 in a Toyota down in Tempe, Arizona. Rich shit, fucking famous hoes missionary on sofas.
Yeah.
Missionary's an underrated position in hip hop. Usually everyone wants to talk about doggy, but if you can't fucking missionary, you're not very good at fucking. That's so exactly. I like that, Benny.
Straight stuff, down the line,
vanilla
bang,
sax,
bang the drum. That's Benny will do that. Benny was straight down the line, mate. He's straight down the line. I think, but you have that line, and you talk about like Benny is more like maybe not as vulnerable. He's more knowing of his like where his path is, and like he's a bit more like fuck. He can be a GOAT contender by just being like, I am that good, and he kind of means it. But he has vulnerability. What's that fucking line on there where he says, "I wasn't really good at shit, so selling poison suited me." Like that is like the Eminem, with the Eminem show on Burn Hollywood Burn, and M said something like, how come I was never good at that? And at that time, for me, it felt like, listening back to it now, it doesn't have the same punch, but in that furore of 2002, 2003, Benny still drops these little lines in there.
I like the bit on earlier on where he's like, something about being like Putin. to poison or something like that. Like, I thought that was quite a good line.
Yeah. Relevant.
Did you enjoy the last track, Mr. Chowhall? Because that was one of my favourites, because it's got quite relevant to this conversation, which is probably going to go on for hours now, but like sort of I don't know, label beefed and sort of stuff like that on it. Did like the bit where they beat out the Shady Records like stuff in there? I thought that was quite interesting. Like how he was saying that people are saying that he's not as good as Westside at this and Conway at this, but he had a better deal than them because he didn't go with the Shady deal and stuff. And like, I thought that was quite cool. It almost could be one of those, a diss to them, but then he sort of turns it into something that's quite interesting and like almost turns it back around how much he loves them. I thought it was really cool.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm with you on that. It's interesting, isn't it, this where they're going to go from here with the Shady thing. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I don't think M would have fit anywhere near that Conway album. You can't have it, but M does tend to drop stuff on Shady like releases, and he didn't drop anything. I thought, okay, that's interesting that M wasn't even on the Conway. He was been on a few, hasn't he? Like, he's not on a few, but
that first one that came out with, I remember we reviewed that. That was like one of the
we did.
I don't know. I remember him being on that and just being like, there's a Ja Rule reference on it. I was like, this is not working, is it? This is not, you're not fitting in here.
Whereas Meth with Griselda, where he did Lemon, was like, I'd love to hear more Meth. We talked about Meth earlier.
I like Meth. I like Meth. I know it didn't seem like it earlier, but I do like Meth. I do like it.
I want to shout out the horns on Thoey's Revenge. I've got to shout out them horns, man. They're fucking brilliant. Like some French horn shit, and just nice to fucking hear Al just doing that. Super Plug as well is another one with some subtle piano keys that I'm absolutely loving as well. And Buster Brick as well. No, Buster Brick Nick, that's fucking superb as well. So I think this album, and we'll see where it goes on the mid-year, but it's probably already on there. We're going to go into the next one though. But before we do, let's go back into the chat. I think
that's a good question.
Yeah, so in the chat you can see that. So Aaron asked the question: does their authenticity make them seem better than they actually are? And if their past was disproved, would that change the appreciation of the music? I think if you found out that this ain't true, it's not going to be the same as the Rick Ross thing. Like, you don't give a fuck because Rick Ross, who cares? His music is so, I don't know, just blingy. I don't know. How would you describe it? But it's just. But this, I think it would. And the thing, what really kind of shines through with this whole album as well is that how the specifics he's going into, like 10 Cracks Commandments, that the Biggie is catchy, and Biggie is quite, never get high in your own supply, catchy, but also probably true. Whereas he goes into like this, his like 20 to 11 is kind of more specific, and because some tax advice, like it's less catchy. It's got more of a, I gave you power. Like the beat on that, the concept is amazing, but the beat's that's all right. It's all right. It's a nice beat, but it's not. But it's, you concentrate on the lyrics. It's just the same with the beat on this one. But I just think the fact that you'd never find out to answer the question. Like, it is authentic. That's the thing, isn't it? You 100% know that they've fucking lived this because they go into so much specifics. But that's also they have like
also, such a good like poetic way with the specifics.
That's
as well.
why Ghost. That's why Ghost is so heralded. Is because these stories almost sound real because of the details. And I find like you aren't going to mention some of these details. Ghostface details in his rap are incredible.
Like bulletproof goose pillows.
Stuff like that. That's just flagrant flavorisms. But I'm talking like, like I'm doing I listen to Big Doe Rehab, and he's talking about shooting someone and how like then a bit of his nose flew off and landed on my. And he doesn't talk about just his kicks. He's talking about what make of kicks they are, and Shaky Dog. When you hear Shaky Dog, that's a perfect example of details.
See, I don't believe Ghostface very much. Whereas, like the details, like Benny saying he doesn't trust a fiend unless he sees burns on his fingers, that feels oddly real. Whereas Ghostface is more like a bit like Westside Gunn. He's just a bit
super
like
thug almost.
Yeah, exactly. Well, it's just a bit like dramatized, but more enjoyable for it. In answer to the question, I don't like any of their really like menacing stuff anyway. I like Westside Gunn. I wouldn't care if he didn't do it or not. He's just entertaining, so it doesn't really bother me.
I think Westside operates on, like we said, a different level to.
But he could be as Benny. It would be very embarrassing if he had a Summer Jam screen in a tutu like Prodigy moment. That would be very.
Imagine, Jesus.
Him, but then how are you ever going to prove it? It's like, I've got a photo of you at 18 not selling drugs. How? Well, okay. How are you going to prove it? I mean, I don't know. Yeah, but yeah, it wouldn't.
Absolutely.
It wouldn't bother me that much. It would. I don't really listen to this because I through like some sort of like parasocial relationship. I need, I watched. I'm rewatching Atlanta as well at the moment. The bit where the guy's, you're the kind of guy who just blows someone's brains out in the street. Don't let me down. Don't let me down. That guy.
I tweeted this. That is one of my favourite characters in TV because he's real. That guy's real, man.
The actor who played him's brilliant. I
don't know what I'd do if you let me down. It's one of my favourite moments in TV. I fucking.
But that's what a lot of fans are like. They want that. They would be really, really upset if like it doesn't.
Stan,
really matter.
fucking M said it all them years ago. These Stans, unbelievable. Ray, let's go into some of yours, mate, and let's pick the pace up a little bit here because we are dragging. We've only done 2.
Come into your stuff. Let's pick the pace up. Come on.
Genuinely.
This one's good. That one's not so good. Cool. Let's go to the fourth one.
What are we doing next?
Which one would you like to do? We can talk If Cocaine Could Talk 7, RJ Payne, or we could talk Rise and Fall of Slaughterhouse, which is going to be messy, but can we do Joel Ortiz. There you go. Benny the Butcher's Tana Talk 4. What an album. Probably going to be on the album of the year list. But next up, we are going to talk one of my definite albums of the year already, Cities of Vive, Man Plays the Horn. That is on the next episode, so go check that out. And if you want to get involved in the Patreon chats, go to patreon.com/crate808, sign up, sub, support the show, and you can get involved in these rap nerd sessions we have every month. So yes, catch you soon and keep it locked. Boom.